Hey, what's good? Back with another Fair Shake review. Today, we're going to talk about the long-awaited, probably last Childish Gambino album. Donald Glover presents 3/15/20, which was the date that the live stream went on for about 12 hours. Now, when that stream came out, I saw a tweet about it, and I was like, wait, what? So I go and check it out, and I'm like, whoa, what in the world is this? Let me listen to this project. This is cool. And then I was like, yo. So I sat and listened for about an hour until I heard it like kind of repeat. And I was like, all right, I think I listened to the whole thing. Little did I know, where I hopped in at was actually kind of towards the end of where the official project was supposed to be. I ended up coming in at track 9, thinking it was the beginning of the project, but hey, it is what it is. It finally came out again, for all the streaming services and all that good stuff this past Sunday, and so I was like, yes, now I can finally buy it, listen to it, and on repeat and analyze it all, because oh my gosh, this is so Donald, because he just always tries to do something different, and I think that's why so many people enjoy him as an artist and a person, an entertainer, performer, a renaissance man. He really is a renaissance man. He really does everything, and and boy does he continue to experiment. Like, this was giving me a bit of because of the internet vibes, and also Awaken My Love vibes, and a couple of vibes from other artists that I was surprised to hear. So yeah, so basically all of these are mainly named by timestamps of where they were in the live stream, but I also have the titles that were is kind of in the metadata, and that also some of the fans basically said, hey, it's probably called this. I'll be using the unofficial titles along with the timestamp titles as well, except for algorithm and time, since those ones are actually named. But yeah, this project is a trip. It's definitely kind of because the internet, due to the fact that it's truly a listening experience, you really want to be able to set aside a good hour of your time to be able to listen to the full thing from start to finish, at least for your first time, because if not, it's gonna be weird skipping from track to track or having to leave and come back. So it's highly recommended that you listen to it from set aside an hour that you can listen to it from beginning to end, because I feel that's going to be the best listening experience. And if you got some good headphones, that'd be nice, or if you got a good set of 2 speakers, that way you could still get the panning, then do that. But there's a lot of really cool engineering stuff where there's cool panning and cool filters that have it partially here, and mainly here, and it's really cool. I usually listen to most of my music on headphones, so I love being able to get that experience here with this project. Now on here is a song that a lot of people have already got to hear, which was Feels Like Summer, since that was part of the summer pack 2 years ago, maybe, and loved that song, so it was great to find out that it's on here, and where it fits in is pretty cool as well. And then I guess people who got to go to the This Is America tour got to hear Algorithm. One of the other tracks that some people were hoping were going to be part of this project, which is Human Sacrifice, is not on here. I did listen to it way back. I definitely want to go back and listen to it again, but obviously since it's not here on the project, I won't have any thoughts on it. But anyway, so it starts off with We Are, and it's just kind of a cool kind of mood setting type of intro where it literally, the only words are we are. We are, we are, we are. But it's kind of done in this kind of synthetic kind of choir kind of thing. Like you could definitely tell there's multiple voices, but you could also tell there's like a chorus effect on it as well with some filtering, and then they also have this really cool delay on it as well that makes it really big and spacious, along with the kind of brooding synth pad that kind of like holds throughout most of the that time period, that good 3 minutes. But it really is just kind of like a mood setting, and to me, it almost gave me Jesus is King Kanye vibes, with just that approach to the way it starts off, and then eventually it ramps itself up to go right into algorithm, which, oh boy, like to me, this is where it really starts, because this is where you really get your full song, and it just comes through with that cool animalistic energy, and it just like, ooh, it's kind of like New Africa beat. It's like, it's real cool. Like it's really dark, really moody, and just kind of a lot of themes about everything kind of being like everything going according to kind of like some type of algorithm. Like we're all kind of part of this system that you know, we kind of like have our computer set on, that we set up algorithms for it to be able to work on its own, but it still kind of goes in a set pattern, and it kind of like compares that to our lives. Like even though we all do have different functions, we still kind of operate in this supposed to be in some type of certain way for things to function correctly, despite, you know, all the issues that come through life. So I thought that was really cool, and it's just really all about how we kind of move to that beat, which is the you know, why they have the alternate spelling of the rhythm part of algorithm. So I thought it was really cool. Really cool start. And then that ends and ramps itself up to time. And this is a somewhat lengthy track. And this one also does have a pretty long outro transition to 1238 or Vibrate. But time is really cool because this is really talking about the preciousness of time, and we just kind of have to make the most of it, especially with the ones that you love, and do all that you can while you still have the time, because we're running out of time. And this has a feature with Ariana Grande, and this track kind of has kind of like a synth funk kind of feel, because like this is one of like the couple of kind of Prince like sounding songs to me, and so Gambino has this interesting he goes into this kind of inflection, and also with this time I think there really is there has to be effects on his voice for this one, and it's just this interesting you know, higher pitched tone that he has singing through it. And so therefore when Ariana gets on it, she also has like this vocal effect on there that kind of changes the tone a little bit. Like you could definitely still tell it's her, but it's definitely not just like clear voice that you're hearing. But they do gel pretty well on here, and it's nice to see, you know, kind of the trade back since she was on Break Your Heart Right, since Childish was on Break Your Heart Right Back, on Ariana's project. I think that one was on Yours True. No. That one was on My. Was that on the My Everything one? I think that one was on the My Everything one. I don't think it was on Dangerous Woman. Anyway, doesn't matter. They did really well. It was nice to see them collaborate again. But yeah, like I said, pretty lengthy outro / transition into 1238 or Vibrate, which has 21 Savage, Kaja Bonet, and Ink on it. A lot of people, when the stream went up, thought the female vocals were done by SZA, but that's wrong. She is mentioned in the song, but she's not in the song. It's actually Kaja Bonet. But anyway, this junk is straight Outcast, Andre 3000 type of joint right here. Like this really weird, like funky hip hop track that's like sounds straight off of the Love Below. And the way that and Childish on this song just goes through this story of him in this relationship with this girl who I guess is just kind of becomes like this fling that he kind of ended up having, and how they interacted on maybe 1 or 2 days, and it does get a little explicit, but you know, it's not like straight vulgar. You do hear the P word a couple times, but even the cat. Why did I say cow? Because I was thinking meow and then also cat. Because the meow came to my mind, and it'll make you giggle when you hear it. But yeah, the conversation that they end up having is just great. So think like weird, funky Andre 3000, the Love Below kind of stuff. Like I'm trying to think which one it reminds me. Like I'm trying to think of which song I could say it reminds me of, though. Like the storytelling aspect is kind of like A Day in the Life of Andre Benjamin, but the beat is kind of a little bit more sheesh. Which one would I compare it to? It's like no, because Spread is too it's a little too energetic. Like I kind of want to. I keep thinking of Pink and Blue, but that's still too slow. Like, so I'm just like, oh, what song? But anyway, that vibe, cool story. Talking about, you know, just their back and forth is really cool, and Childish has some pretty funny lines in there. Just like, why don't you just come over here? Like she says to him, why don't you wait here and take this psilocybin while I go get ready or whatever. So it's like, okay, I don't know what this is, but this better not be no Miley. It's just like, it's silly stuff like that. Or that's why that cat look at me sideways. Or dog part packed like a Trader Joe's. It's just silly stuff in comparisons like that just make you go ha. And then the interesting choice of having 21 Savage on here is definitely interesting. But he doesn't do bad. He himself kind of tells a bit of his story, kind of with women a little bit, and relationship with you know, how his money changes relationships there with that as well, and how the money has also changed himself, because now he's, you know, they want to catch the cops mad because he made it without, you know, cooking crack, and you know, he's got money, and he's got money with no class. That's why he's eating pot pies and what was it, in first class or something like that. And then he's flexing like Popeye when he's eating on a private jet, and then he's also flexing like Popeye when he has the spinach. I was just like, all right, I see you, man. It's nothing phenomenal, but it's cute. I'm not mad at you. So yeah, 21 did his thing. And it wasn't bad. Like he's definitely grown on me as a rapper, as he's gone on, because he's been getting better at the actual craft itself. And then in between that verse and then the one after, you got Kaj Bonet um, singing little bits and pieces there, which are cool. And then there's also this strange, strange like instrumental break with a sample, and then they cut back to the funky beat again, uh, with the sample being cut in like a DJ cut thing, and it just a good minute or a minute and a half where you just get to vibe out to them playing with the sample in the mix, which is really cool. And it makes me curious whether DJ Dahi was doing the cuts or if Childish was doing the cuts, because he also DJs as well. So really really interesting. DJ Dahi is like on a lot of production on here, so it made me surprised, because I also saw Ludwig's name on here a little less than I expected, but the project is still phenomenally produced. So as we go into freaking beautiful, oh my gosh, we go back into this cool almost 80s Prince vibe again, and talking about how black is beautiful, and how people will try to, people would want to be you or take what you have, what you create, because of the power of your blackness. And that is awesome. And all I could think of the entire time listening to this is like, yo, if Childish is gonna go on this vibe right here in this lane, like he did like the kind of the funk R&B, like the P funk R&B kind of stuff with Awaken My Love, but if he's gonna get in this side of like funk pop, like I need him to collaborate with Janelle Monae. Please excuse me, Janelle Monae, because I was like, yo, if there was gonna be a remix from this project, yo, Beautiful should be it, and all you gotta do is get me some Janelle Monae on there, and I would be set. Like, oh, it would be such a good fit. But yeah, beautiful is simply beautiful. Then it goes. Then you get another weird, funky transition portion that goes into "Thank You," and this one is just kind of like a long dedication to his girlfriend, his lover. I don't know if they're married. The mother of his children. I don't know what that situation is, since Donald's so low key. But anyway, this one had to kind of grow on me a little bit. But this one is almost kind of like kind of psychedelic pop tune. Almost like I was getting almost kind of like, or like almost like Beatles vibes, and then even more like early R&B vibes too. Like in certain sections, like it's like with the guitars, some of it would just kind of be kind of like the chord structures and the openness of some of the chords chosen just reminded me of kind of old 60s 70s kind of rock riffs, like truly like that kind of the weird side of Beatles kind of stuff, and it's actually really really good. The main thing that had me kind of like had to make it grow on me is the changing tones of Donald's vocals, because towards the beginning, it is a like he does some weird inflections, like a weird tone, and then it gets pitched back down to like his normal voice for a hot second, and then it goes back up into like another one. It's the way the pitch bends on the tone is very offsetting for a little bit, because it's even different than how he would do it on stuff like Time. So it's just like, oh, I don't know how this fits, and then eventually it's just like, oh yeah, okay, I'm good. He's in there. He's in the pocket. It just kind of almost seems like he was settling in his voice into the pocket. It's just like, yeah, your tone. Let's try this tone. No, okay, let's turn it down a little bit. No, that's a little too normal. Like, we need it a little strange, so let's turn it back up a little bit more. And okay, there you go. Like, that's how it feels like it does throughout, like, kind of like that first verse, and then eventually it just kind of settles in, and it's just kind of like a little bit of a different, not regular tone of voice, but once it settles in, it's in there. And then you also get a good groove for about a good maybe a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes, and then it goes into, and then it just really kind of stops and goes into a really interesting, strange, transitional period where it's just a lot of bass and vocal panting, like dude's getting ready to run, and he's getting himself ready to go to war or something, and it just increases speed, increase, and then okay, all right, got the heart pumping, I'm good, let's get ready, I'm ready to go in, and then boom, Warlords comes in, and then you just hear that bass eventually turns into this really, really cool, like future, like once again, like kind of African Afrobeat kind of like almost tribal feel. Like, to me, this feels like the B side off of like the Black Panther soundtrack stuff. So, and you can thank Ludwig for that, because he did the soundtrack for like the score for the Black Panther movie. So this sounds like something that should have been part of that soundtrack slash score. It sounds like it's part of that, because it's like so like tribal and native. You're just like, yes, don't whoa 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 whoa, and you're just like, yes. And there's like, and even the vocals in this one, it's kind of like they barely matter. The way they kind of like presented the vocals, they're so nondescript. Like, yes, you can look up the lyrics, you'd be able to read along and be like, oh yeah, he really is saying these words, but it's not really said in the most coherent way, that some people probably would just think he's maybe even speaking another language. Then that's why they don't understand what he's saying. But the lyrics itself, I feel, don't matter as much. It like, yes, they all have to deal with kind of like rage, and that energy, and getting pumped to go out and fight, and it's more of the feel of the feel of the delivery that I feel like he probably got a lot of influence from Young Thug on that, because I know he's a big fan of Young Thug, and one of the things that people like about Young Thug so much is, even though they may not understand everything he says, even though he can be rather coherent, it's just, what you'll have to train your ear to the way he speaks. But it's more about how what he says makes you feel. So the words don't matter as much as how it's said, and you just really get a lot of that aggressive energy in it, and I kind of love that feeling that it gives. So yeah, that is Warlords, aka 32, 39.22. Sorry, I stopped saying the timestamp names. But anyway, after that, it does a quicker transition period into 35.31 or Littlefoot, and yo, this joint is like when I heard it, I was like, oh, he's going for this vibe. So to me, this is kind of like that good old country, that country feel, like hip hop kind of feel, where like going back to almost like old like plantation type spiritual songs, even though it's definitely not a spiritual song. It's just you know that like it's on that. Like it's really cool. Like it like makes me think of like when groups like Field Mob or Nappy Roots used to do that kind of nod to kind of that older black country like type of music, and you know made it modern. And yo, like Childish does so good at it, especially with the story that he's telling, because he's really kind of talking kind of about kids and getting trapped in the trap of sheesh, of the drug game, and how you can get caught up in the criminals, the prison system, and how the street rules and all that stuff. And I feel like, yo, this is a really, really, really interesting way to kind of describe that lifestyle, because it's delivered in the most like old school country black way that it's just like, wow, to explain the street life to this sound is interesting, and he killed it. Then we get to the song that I thought was originally the beginning of the project, which was Why Go to the Party. And yo, okay, if anybody has checked out the channel Bill Wirtz, where Bill Wirtz like creates some fantastically weird music, because he basically does some really interesting like vocal shit. It's not just vocal jazz, but it's just like it's like taking all of the weirdest, coolest, most interesting and unorthodox jazz chords. Like I don't know which subset of jazz it's supposed to be, but it's like it's really, really cool. Like where almost every note has a totally new, interesting chord with all these weird extensions and harmonies and stuff like that. It's really cool, because this song literally is just voice and kind of like an electric piano, and it's really cool, and it's like the theme, the feel it gives this song. Let me give you the number, 39.28. This song, like Why Go to the Party, really kind of goes into, I feel like putting yourself in situations that aren't going to help. Like, why go to the party when you weren't invited, and I don't even really want to be here if I can't be with you, my loved one, and dealing with grief is like trying to hide behind, like escape from your problems through this party that isn't really going to help you, and you should be with the ones that actually know you and can actually comfort you. It's at least that's the message I kind of get from it. But yo, just sonically, it's so ear pleasing. It's like, wow. Like anybody who can do that Bill Wirtz kind of jazz, like vocal based, interesting jazz chords, like centric music is gonna be like appealing to me. It's awesome, and it's like wow. Then that one goes into Feels Like Summer, which I love. Great song. It's like, even though it's so soothing and easy to vibe to, it has a really great message about global warming, and it really goes in hard about like, why are we doing these bad things to our earth, and you know, we hope things can change and we can turn things around so we don't destroy this place that we live in. Like that's really what the song is about. But it just sounds so good. It's so easy to vibe to, and it makes me want to sing to it all the time. Throughout the whole thing, there are just slight changes to it. Like it has like a new intro portion, and then also the outro has a little less vocals, and then it has a transition part into the violence that, yo, like this really just kind of goes into a lot of the ills that happen in poverty-stricken neighborhoods, especially in our black communities or Latino communities. I mean, even white people go through it too, but I mean, really, the ones hit the most with poverty, it goes into a lot of the struggles that they kind of go through, and it's sung in a really, really, really beautiful way, and dig it quite a bit. And then it's kind of like even a bit of then it goes into 53.49 or Under the Sun, which is kind of another message to his kids. Before it was just oh, that's right. So at the end of the violence, before I move on, or 47.48, the violence, at the end of that, there's actually a bit of talk with him and his son, Legend, where he, you know, talks to him about who he loves. Well, he starts off with, "What do you love?" And his son automatically goes to "Who?" He was like, "Yeah, who do you love?" And he just starts listing all these great people, and then even talking about loving himself. And I feel that was a really, really great end to the song, because it's like, even though there is all this craziness that happens in our community, if we can still teach like our future generations to love themselves and love others, like that could be the path towards healing in these times and in those communities that deal with what they deal with. But yeah, great end. And then it goes into 53.49 Under the Sun, which is the message to his children, and just kind of like, yo, I try to do everything that I can, and you should try to do whatever you can that you want to do, and achieve everything that you want to achieve, because all you can do is try and live your best life, and do your best for others as well. And it's a really, really great end to the project. And yo, like, bruh, the whole project, ill. The only gripe that I'm gonna have with going back to this project is the fact that there are a lot of tracks on here with a lot of transitional intro, well, mainly outros that I will have to end up skipping most of the time if I'm not just trying to listen to the whole entire project. So that's the one drawback of having it try and be this full-on experience that you go into. But other than that, it's a fantastic experience. Quite a musical journey. There's so many different styles of music, from a lot of like funk to kind of like psychedelic pop rock to hip hop to like alternative rap. It's just amazing, an amazing project. And for a lot of people who may be concerned, there's actually not a lot of like straight up cursing on here. There are a couple N-words in a couple songs that aren't marked explicit, but technically there's only really two that have bad words in it. That'll be 12.38 or Vibrate and Littlefoot 35.31. And that's an interesting trend that I've kind of seen Childish going in. He's definitely been kind of cursing a little less, because he didn't do a whole lot of it in Awaken My Love. And although there's definitely some songs that are like have a lot of it, there's also a good amount of songs on Because the Internet that he doesn't really curse a whole lot. Is just maybe just the N-word. And so yeah, so that's just if you are concerned about that. But yeah, this project was an experience. You really get to hear him talk a little bit on his life, and what he's learned, his mindset, not straight up personal details like he's had kind of like in camp, and everything before that, where he gets a little way more like direct with his personal life in it. But you definitely get his mindset in a lot of these songs, and you also get a bit of social commentary that he's kind of the direction he was heading with a lot of Awaken My Love, and also a little tiny bit that he had in Because the Internet. But yeah, this was the best way I could say experience. Like he really, like Childish Gambino really is all about trying to create these experiences, because all of the like official music that he's like created all had some type of world that he creates with the music, and even some of the stuff that comes out around it, because it, like, when you look at Camp, when you look at Because the Internet, when you look at Kauai, even mixed with the Stone Mountain mixtape along with that, and Sheesh, and when you look at 3.15.20, yeah, everything is kind of like a full package experience, and that's what Childish is able to give you. And the great thing is that there's a lot of variety still within that one experience that is kind of grouped together. So I think that's something to be commended, and also something to be recommended. So I highly recommend this project, especially if you've dug Childish's stuff before. This is still a little less on the rap tip. It would be nice to hear him be a little bit more on the rap tip, but hey, I'm pretty sure this is kind of like the last full project, since he wanted this to end. This was a great ending if this is the last project. But hey, I still want a studio version of Saturday. That's all I really want, bro. If I don't get anything else, please let me get Saturday, because that song is so good. I need to be able to play that over and over again. But yeah, so that's my thoughts. Please let me know what yours are down below. I know this is one of my more lengthy reviews, but hopefully you understand why. It's because I'm a super fan of Childish, because I've been enjoying his music way back in the Sick Boy days. And yeah, so that's it. Much love, peace. There he is.